We went through a hole in the fence. We started to paint. I was taking pictures. These guys, workers with pipes came running through the cars, and Min saw them and said, "Yo, chill, chill." They were running. They were going to come out and f us up, and we gathered all that shit and we ran out of the yard. I was a newcomer to New York. I think I visited it a few times in the late 60s and early 70s in time to see some of the earliest tags on the trains, and already that intrigued me. It was an example of youth breaking out of some kind of constraint. At the time, it was like 50-50 split. Half the people reacted like it's vandalism, you're encouraging vandalism, and the other half were, it's art. Look at this. This is now proof that it's art. And the audience was absolutely divided. It was almost like half the audience sat here and half the audience sat there, and the other ones were yelling at each other, "No, it's garbage, vandalism." And these were saying, "But look, it's art,
It's like they give you a name and they say, "Here, take this name and do something with it." Like he got the name Scene, he can walk around and just say, "Hey, my name is Scene," and I'll say, "Yeah, I see you right there, I see you there." It's a name. It's just like I'll give you a name and you say, "Hey, how big could you get this name up? How high?"
We started shooting in 81, and then our idea at the time was it was going to have graffiti in it, but it was going to be a lot more about breaking, and we were going to have, their families in it and that kind of thing.
1, 2, party people in the base. Rock steady against that island rockers. Rock on to the break of dawn.
In 1981, there was a Village Voice article about breaking. I had been the person who had assembled Rocksteady to do a performance. You probably heard it was when the Ballbusters came and stopped the rehearsal in its tracks. It fell apart. They wouldn't leave. Somebody that they had it in for appeared, and so the machetes came out. There was a gun. I'm there with my 9-year-old daughter.
Oh, wow.
climbing up the ladder to the loft to call the police, but it was over before it started. So the show never happened. But Tony was at the dress rehearsal. So after this is over, he says to me, "Hey, Henry, I think there's a film in this. Do you want to work with me on a film?" So that's how it began.
Yeah, we got to start to rock some straight letters.
This one came out alright, right?
That's about the third Skeme piece I did this shit. And that's the TikTok I did in Gun Hill.
I'd rather let my mother know what's going on, than to keep on the dark. If I get busted, cops call, "Excuse me, we have your son for graffiti." I'd rather, let her know that I was doing it, so, she's prepared to come and get me out. But never getting busted, so don't have to worry about that.
Skeme and his mother, that has to be.
Rest in
for
peace.
all kinds of reasons, that it's an icon of parent and child, smart-ass child and strict but humorous parent.
But his contention is that he's immortal, I guess, like most 17-year-olds are immortal, right?
It's a matter of getting a tag on each line and each division. It's called going all city.
We had 2 shoots, and that was one of them. And we went to their house. He was 17, and he said, "Yeah." He said, "My mom's will certainly probably do it, so I'll ask her." And he said, "Yeah, she'll do it." And I met her. And she said to me, "What I have to say about this subject, you don't even want to hear." I said, "No, yes, exactly. That's what we want to hear. Mm-hmm. We want to have all sides,
All city. I mean, to what end? And when I ask him, he says to me, "Well, just so people see it and they know who I am." Nobody knows who he is, and so they see it. And so
it's not a matter of so they know who I am.
So they see it, and then after they see it, so what?
It's a matter of bombing, knowing that I can do it, Every time I get in the train, almost every day I see my name. I say, "Yeah, you know what? I was there. I bombed it." It's a matter. It's for me. It's not for nobody else to see. I don't care. I don't care about nobody else seeing it or the fact if they can read it or not. It's for me and other graffiti writers that we can read it. All these other people who don't write, they're excluded. I don't care about them. They don't matter to me. It's for us.
She definitely produced with her attitude, and he with his attitude, his smart ass attitude of and so arrogant, and would drive a parent wild. And it was just a perfect combination of parent and child. And the cameraman was so gifted that even though it wasn't scripted, he could follow with perfect camera movements this conversation between the two. Even when Skeme would say something outrageous, but he didn't rush back. He would just he stay on steam a moment and then gradually, just in time to catch her smirk. I mean, it was so the timing of those movements, and I was so impressed by that.
Graffiti, as the name itself, is not an art. Graffiti is the application of a medium to a surface. I will show you graffiti, such as the letters on the end of that car directly in back of me. Is that an art form? I don't know. I'm not an art critic. But I can sure as hell tell you that that's a crime.
Did you get any feedback from the actual Vandal Squad detectives, the MTA's anti-graffiti force? Did they try to pressure you or tell you to give up this guy or that guy? Or
no,
where does so-and-so live? Or
never. And these guys would turn up at shows.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody kind of knew them and were joking with them, and they were joking back. They were perfectly pleasant. We interviewed them to be in the film, but we decided in the end that they were pretty boring interviews.
Nice and slow.
This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. This is it.
were there other guys that you consider masters that didn't make the cut or didn't agree to be in it?
I didn't know him at the time, but with Chain
3, yeah.
And in general, those guys that were TMT and also the TDS guys were
Cool 131.
Yeah.
But they were kind of on a hiatus in 81, 82, 83,
Yeah.
no?
But like I say, from my point of view, I wanted to have Lee in it, and he didn't want to be in it for his, like I already told you the reasons. He thought, no, this is not something I want to reveal. I have my sacred spot, I'm not going to do that. And then the other person, of course, I wanted Blade, and Blade wouldn't do it. And why? He said, well, look, I just finished, and you saw it, car number 5,000. And I'm not going to be held responsible for 5,000 trains. Trains are all important for me in terms of the culture and in terms of what it meant to become artists with the trains as part of your medium. There is a soul to that system, and it is so overwhelming that if you're a child growing up in the city, the subway system, just the noise that it makes, the extraordinary power, the inertia of that thing, it's awesome. Wild style never would have developed just on a wall. You can paint it on a wall and people do amazing things, but I think it evolved and grew out of the relationship to the trains.